This is Rising Phoenix Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Rhodes. This podcast is for men struggling with an unwanted divorce. I interview experts on divorce, mental health, and I provide insights gained from my own divorce journey. You are not alone. Join me. Hello, and welcome to the show. This is episode 195. If you've been paying attention over the last few years or so, you would have expected this to be an interview. You're not wrong, but the two that I had sort of intended to release in this slot needed a little bit of an explanation, or at least I felt like they did. So I figured rather than if I'm going to come down to the studio and I'm going to record something, I might as well just record a whole fucking episode. So here I am. And then I thought also maybe getting the schedule switched up to make it more aligned with my custody wouldn't be a bad thing. This past weekend, it was not my weekend. So, and typically when I do solo episodes, it is my weekend. So that means I have to get up early Monday morning. And I've, had the weekends with the kids and I'm usually exhausted. Not that I'm not fucking exhausted right now. I am, but I figured if I'm going to come down here, I might as well just go ahead and do a whole episode. And it's been, I'm sure you might be able to hear it in my voice potentially. And maybe if you watch this on YouTube, you probably see I am fucking exhausted. I switched to a different camera last time around, but when I fired it back up, the settings, it didn't just like go right back to the settings that I had it set at, and I was fighting with it and struggling with it, and it just I got fucking tired of it, and I went back to the old one. But then that required setup and moving, and just this is most definitely a labor of love. This is a solo one though, so let me get to the new locations. I do want to cover a couple of things. I don't know how long or short this is going to be. I might rant and rave, and it might be longer than a normal one, or I'm pretty fucking exhausted. It might just be a short one. First on the list, I will butcher this. I always do. I apologize. Malmesbury, Wiltshire. I'm going to guess that's again jolly old England. You listened to the last one, episode 194, when feelings resurface. Next up, Maple Ridge, British Columbia. You listened to episode 180, which was releasing trauma. That was an interesting one. I've dabbled with that tapping stuff, but like many things, I don't stick with it long enough to know if it made a difference. But it is interesting shit for sure. Next up, another one for the last one, 194, Rice, Minnesota. I can pronounce that one. Nailed it. The next one is okay. I'm not gonna nail this one. Saulnierville, Nova Scotia. You listened to episode 62, Letting Go. That's pretty cool. I mean, like I said this once before. It's always cool when anyone listens, anytime from any fucking where. But it's always really cool to me when it's a very old episode. I don't know if I can look and see real quick. I could, maybe I can. When episode 62 was. Do a quick search. That one was recorded or released anyhow, March 31st of 2022. So, damn, that was a long time ago. So yeah, how cool. At least to me, I think that's cool. So, I did want to address something. I'm trying to figure out how much time and energy I want to put into this. What I will say is the one of the episodes that I was going to put out, that I was going to edit, and I honestly I'm just exhausted, and I figured I want to introduce it and I have to edit it. Fuck it, I will just do a solo and I'll edit that one later and maybe not do an intro if I talk about it now. It is a legal one, and it's timing. One of my pet peeves, I suppose, is people that no matter what happens, no matter how far they get out, they stay in this I'm a victim mentality. And the truth is for a period of time, well, you are a victim in some regards. That is true. If someone cheated on you, if you were left, if you lost custody, I mean, we all lose at least some custody, even at 50%. It's not 100, obviously. Um, you are victimized or you are a victim, and that sucks and it hurts. And I've been there and I've done all that. But at some point, and I don't know what point it is, and that's um, up for debate, obviously. I think it's like many things up to the person. But at some point, you have to let go of being a victim if you want to move forward. And I don't know if I said this in a podcast. I know that I posted it on Facebook. One of the things that my therapist said to me not too long ago is that people mistake familiarity with safety. And there are some of you out there, well, actually, you're probably not listening if this what I'm about to say probably doesn't apply to you because you're actively trying to move on, you're actively trying to heal, you're actively trying to learn new skills, to move on from what happened, to make it for you, not to you. And that's an important mindset shift. That's one of the things I learned from Dr. MC McDonald. That was her words of wisdom on the first episode I ever interviewed her. And that one hits home, and I agree with that. At some point, you have to say, okay, what can I do to move forward? How can I make this for me? And how can I stop focusing on the past? And there's cliches around this, like, the windshield is bigger than the rear view and all that kind of shit. But I mean, cliches are funny. They're kind of, I don't know, they get old, I guess, or so cheesy or whatever. But like that's true. If you're gonna go forward, you can't be constantly fucking looking back and crying about what happened. And I don't know when you need to stop, and I don't know when you need to let go. But when someone is in not so much the Discord server, because those guys are really dedicated to working on themselves. More the Facebook group, which is sometimes the bane of my fucking existence. You have people that years in there are still saying the same things over and over and over and over and over and playing the victim and never moving forward. And by the way, when you put that shit out there, it it's not exactly uplifting. It's not exactly helping people out of the muck and the mire. It's not giving people any kind of light bulb moments about the ability or the necessity of moving on. You're keeping people held down. And like I said, I understand that there's a time for victimhood, a time for being incredibly emotional. I'm not talking about being stoic and not having an emotion, but I'm saying don't harp on things. For me, if you're a year plus out and you're still complaining about the situation, about how much you spent on lawyers, about how you had to go into court. If I sat around and focused on let's just because I think potentially some of you don't think or don't know the shit that I've gone through. I think I've been pretty transparent, but perhaps you haven't listened to old episodes. But and I don't think what I'm about to say is anything unique. I hear this shit all the time. Um, I was probably, I would say within the next 5 years maximum, this house that I live in would be paid off. Nope, not anymore because I had to refinance because I couldn't fucking afford it. So that's thrown out the fucking window. Um, a large chunk of my retirement, my 401k, my IRAs, has been fucking removed to the tune of I think it was 70 some thousand dollars. So that fucking sucks. When I first had started to pay child support, I paid $1,800 a month. And again, I'm aware that some of y'all out there have it worse and all that. I'm not saying these things to tell you to complain to you or to try and my dick's bigger than yours type of situation. That's not what I'm fucking doing here. I'm just saying I felt I felt the fucking, like, there are things that have occurred that are fucking difficult to deal with. But at some point you have to let that shit go. And it's not easy, but when I see people that aren't doing that, they're not even attempting that, I try to have grace. I try to have compassion. I mean, I have lots of compassion, but at a certain point, for me, it's a year. If I see you in that Facebook group and you're a year plus from being in there and you're still saying the same fucking things over and over, you got to go. And here's one of the things this is why I don't lose sleep at night over that. I mean, sometimes I lose sleep at night, but it has nothing to fucking do with people being banned from the Facebook group. That the list that is long. I've had people email me, I've had people message me and fucking curse me upside and down the other, and I just don't fucking care, because if I removed you, it was for a reason. And it's not the only support group in the world for men going through divorce. There are other Facebook groups. There are other people that try to play in this space. I don't want to say too much here because I don't want to get negative, but there are other people out there. There are other groups out there. And maybe there's a whole fucking bunch of folks that hate me, and you guys could all start your own fucking Facebook group about how much I suck, and you could stay stuck and miserable. I'm sure there's enough of you. I don't know if you're listening. Maybe you are. Maybe you're hate listening. That's a whole other conversation. But it's not the only support group in the world. So it's not like I'm not obligated to give people my time and energy if they're not on board with the mission of helping men heal, number one. And you can't heal if you're a victim. And number two, give them tools and space and grace and compassion in order to feel their feelings and feel their emotions. And lastly, hopefully give them tools and guidance, and through this podcast, information in order to learn how to regulate their emotions. Because make no mistake about it, for the rest of your life, you're going to deal with shit that's going to force you to have emotions. And boy, wouldn't it be handy if you could fucking manage those emotions, not control, but manage them in a way that isn't debilitating to you. And if you're not part of that mission, that's cool. Go to another fucking group. I don't lose sleep at night because of that. I lose sleep at night because of work or kids or sometimes it's podcast stuff, but it's not around what people, bad reviews or anything of that nature. I'm doing my best. If you don't like it, okay, that's fine. It doesn't matter. I mean, I would love everyone to love it and to love me. Sure, that would be great. But if you don't, that's fine. I don't care. If you need to take the time to write a negative review, I think that says more about you than it does my podcast. So anyway, why am I saying all this stuff? There's some recent incidents, and I'm not going to go too deep into this, but it's centered around someone in the group. And truth be told, I was never. How can I say this? Because I don't know if that person will listen. I doubt it. I don't think they are a listener because of their actions. But something happened recently. Someone was removed, and it's centered around legal issues. This is not a father's rights podcast. My groups are not for father's rights. That doesn't fucking mean I'm anti-father, for fuck's sakes. I'm a father, you fucking idiot. So it's just not the focus, because I don't think in the majority, are there people that get fucked? Yeah. And there are aspects of divorce that is a fucking, but I try to cover some of this stuff on the legal stuff. I've interviewed 4 or 5 lawyers, maybe. There's, like I said, there's one coming, and that's why I'm doing this little intro. But it's not my focus. It is a part of this process. And my advice is just get a fucking good lawyer and don't do dumb shit. And part of that dumb shit is regulating your emotions. and it's touched on in this legal episode, men that come in that are all angry and pissed off don't do well in court. I mean, anyone that goes into any space that acts entitled, in my view, doesn't do well, because nobody gives a fuck about your entitlement. And I'm not saying that to say that people don't deserve things or haven't earned things, or there shouldn't be some things that are a given. I'm just saying that when you approach anything with a sense of entitlement, I don't know that ever really works out for you as an individual. Not that some of us aren't entitled to things. I'm a veteran, right? I'm entitled to VA healthcare. That's a true statement. And if I didn't get it, I'd probably be pretty pissed off. But if I didn't, what could I do, right? I wouldn't focus on it. I wouldn't make it my, at least I don't think I would. Well, maybe I would. I wouldn't make it my cause. But if I did, I wouldn't do it in a veteran support group. I would start another group around veterans healthcare. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want shit intertwined. I'm getting a little off track there. I apologize. It's fucking late. I'm tired. And when I do interview lawyers, I don't look for, I don't think I've ever, that's probably not true. The first lawyer I interviewed, I'm sure I reached out to him because I was just getting started. That was like episode 3 or something. He said he was going to come back on, and then I texted him late one night. It was like 10 p.m. I don't think he was too happy about that. So he's like, no, thank you. He kept saying he was going to come back on, but then he didn't. So whatever, it's fine. Not bad enough in him. He was a good dude. He was a good guest. But I think, if I'm not mistaken, every lawyer after that was them reaching out to me, including this last one. This one will probably be the next week's episode, I would imagine. And why I want to talk about this, or why I wanted to do sort of an intro to it, is to say, listen, are there situations where men get screwed? Sure. What I always struggle with is people acting like it's all men, or that men never win, or that men that if you're going through a divorce, you're going to get fucked if you're a man, period. Here's a truth. People that earn more get fucked, generally. Is that mostly men? Yes, but I think there are a few ladies that would beg to differ. And of course, they're famous people, and there's a reason, because they have a lot of money, right? That they would say, my ex-husband doesn't do fuck all, and he gets hundreds of thousands of dollars a fucking month, or tens of thousands a month, whatever the fuck it is. So higher earners get fucked. Yes. Is that typically men? Yes. But that's not a fucking by the courts per se, in my view. It's a fucking by the laws that say, if you make this much and they make this much, you have to give this much. Like, it's a fucking formula. It's not a bias. It's not a bias, unless you want to look at it as bias towards the higher earner. But that's not gender specific. In terms of custody, this is retirement accounts. Yeah, that's all bullshit again, too. I don't think my ex-wife should have got a fucking penny out of my retirement account. But that's not a bias against me. It's because I had more than she did. And that's not a bias. That's a fucking law, and it's a stupid law. Should it be changed? Sure. Do I want to devote any time or focus or energy to that? No, because my focus has always been, will remain, on making sure people have the tools, space, all that kind of shit for around mental health, so they don't fucking kill themselves, period. In terms of custody, the majority of what I have seen, and this is anecdotal, I don't have data to back it up because I don't focus on it, but when I look at data, what I see is it's certainly a lot more equal. And in some places, that equality is law. Now, some people will be like, yeah, well, it's law here, but they still fuck, man. Okay, well, maybe your lawyer sucked. Maybe you went into that fucking courtroom with an entitled attitude. Maybe you're a fucking idiot and did all the wrong fucking things. I don't know. I know that I have 50-50 custody. And that is the standard and the norm and where I live. And it's the standard and the norms in a lot of places. And I think where men fuck up is they go into a situation where they lean on their anger and that comes through in court and it fucks them. And then they complain about the system. Do I know this for 100% certain? Do I have data? No, I don't. But in general, the lawyers that I have spoken to, and I would love to have, if you know a lawyer that can tell you that men always get fucked, tell them, give them my address, Rising Phoenix Podcast 2020 at gmail.com. I'd love to have them all. I did, after this little kerfluffle in the Facebook group, I did email a lawyer in a particular state and said, would you like to come on the show? And he was like, I've never been on a podcast. What would we talk about? And I explained. And I said, I don't see it as men are always getting fucked, but someone thinks your entire state hates men. So I haven't heard back from him, but it took me a while to respond to him. So maybe I'm sure he's probably busy. He's a fucking lawyer. So anyway, my intent was to introduce the episode to just say, listen, from what I can see, legally, men aren't getting fucked. Are we getting fucked in the grand sense that divorce is a fucking in terms of you lose your kids half the time? Yes, that's being fucked. That's getting fucked. Are you losing a retirement account or chunks of your retirement account? Yes, that's bullshit. It's fucked up. But I'm not going to focus on that. And if you want to, that's great. Go ahead and do that. But one of the biggest reasons that I don't focus on those types of things is, one, I can't control them. Two, I don't have the fucking energy. And three, if you keep telling people, men, that they're, no matter what, you're getting fucked, man. My fear is that men won't fight at all. They'll just give the fuck up. So if you do live in a place that isn't 50-50 is the norm, then, and this is my problem with guys, because what I say all the time is, tell me, there's guys who, I want to fight the system. I want to start my own group. And okay, great, cool. What cause specifically, what law are you going after? And they never really have an answer. They never have an answer. Not really. They never have an answer. But I'll give you one. 50-50 custody. That should be maybe federal law. I don't know if they probably can't do that, but it should be the law in every state of the land. Not best interest of the children, 50-50, unless there are extenuating circumstances. Being that dad is an alcoholic or mom is a fucking drug addict, then obviously 50-50 can be thrown out the fucking window. So I wanted to, my plan was to address it anyway, and then all this, not all of this, that makes it more dramatic than it is. Then this incident happened, and I felt it was necessary. I'm not focusing on everything, or maybe I should say what I'm focused on is mental health. That's pretty much the focus. But there will be things on the podcast, obviously, because there have been, that are other things that are in the divorce realm. Finances, I've had a few of those because that is something you will face. But those things to me are like logical, factual data type things. They're not, they're almost cut and dry. Find a good fucking lawyer, know the laws as best you can, and trust your gut, and don't do anything less than 50-50. And don't be a fucking dick when things seemingly, I see this all the time. She wants this and she wants that and she wants this. She can want any fucking thing she wants. Doesn't mean she's going to get it. But if we keep, when, of course, lawyers and people that are going after you are going to go for, they're going to try and fucking get everything they possibly can. And if you see that first draft and you're like, what the fuck? And then you hear a fucking Facebook group full of men telling you, yeah, you're fucked. You might as well just enjoy it. Just fucking bend over. That's why would we want to do that to people? I sure as fuck don't. I think I'll end with today was a rough day, but not I shouldn't say rough. Today was just I had no motivation. I'm tired. I had no motivation work-wise, mainly work-wise. But I still showed up. I made dinner for my kids. I'm here recording this episode. It's almost 11 p.m. I really got to get the fuck to bed. Despite being tired, here I am because this matters to me. And I can't do any of it without the support of some of you out there. And it is greatly appreciated. And like I said in the last solo one, I guess last week's, I would definitely appreciate it if you could like and subscribe. Why does it feel so weird to ask for this? Like, subscribe, comment, leave reviews, all that good shit. If you could take a few moments to do that for me, for the podcast, for the men out there that haven't found this podcast yet and need to, if you could do that, I would really, really appreciate it. And next week, we will get back to a regularly scheduled program. I'll wrap up with this one more thing. There is another episode that I was going to do, or will probably do an introduction for, but maybe I won't if I do it kind of now. I met, when I say met, internet met, a young gentleman who has started a podcast. He's been doing it for a little bit, and he has a pretty, I don't know if shocking is the right word, but he has maybe it is a shocking story. And I think there's some nuggets in it. I don't know that it exactly fits, but I'm going to put it out because I want to encourage this young man to keep expressing himself, to keep tackling the mental health challenges that all of us face. And I was really, I guess, inspired by, once you hear the story, I'm like, wow, it's pretty intense, I guess. And for him to share that, it deserves space. And so I don't know that it's a perfect fit for this podcast, but I think, or I know he deserves his story to be heard. And so you will hear it. It'll probably be, 3 weeks from now or whatever. But when you hear it, I don't know that I'll do an intro now. So when you hear it, just understand that it's because I admire his guts and courage. And so that's why I want to put it out and to hopefully encourage him to continue, because I think we need more people talking about mental health, especially men, than we currently have. So that's all I got. Thank you again and always for listening. Until next time, take care of yourselves and take care of each other. Thank you so much for watching and or listening. If you are feeling alone on this journey, please join our Discord server. Becoming a Phoenix is not a solitary act. It is one achieved through community. Our Discord server is just that, a community of men fighting to survive, thrive, and rise from their divorce. Go to risingphoenixpodcast.com/Discord for information on how to join and what is contained in our Discord server. Please join us.